Which social media channels should online course creators use? Now, this is an interesting topic. I love it because it's ever changing. I've been presenting this topic for a while now, and every few months I need to change it because there's a new platform that's become popular, and then a platform that used to be popular and is no longer popular. And then the algorithm changes on this platform over here. And then there's a new feature on this platform over here. So it's ever changing, which is part of the reason why I love it. So let me give you the most up-to-date information and share my recommendation. Just before I do, a little bit of background about myself. I'm the founder at the Course Creator Community. We have one of the largest and most engaged Facebook groups in the course creator space. It's called the Course Creator Community. There's over 5,000 members in there. Everyone is super supportive. We all share tips and ideas. Because of that, it gives me a really good idea of the landscape, and I can see very clearly what's working, what's not working across a broad range of course creators. On top of that, I also run my own online course business, Fitness Education Online. We've got over 40 online courses, which helps fitness professionals grow their fitness business, and we're currently the Fitness Australia Educator of the Year. So based on those two things there, I get to see it at both levels. I get to see the hands on the ground with my own online school and see what's working in that area there, but then I can step away and see the bigger picture and also see what all the other course creators are doing as well. Now, just before we get into social media, I want to touch on the email list side of things. So one of the major reasons why we use social media is to grow our email list. Now, I want to focus mainly on social media today, and I'm sure if you've been in the game a while, you've probably heard the power of the email list. So I'll just brush over it and make sure that we're all on the same page here. The limitations to social media is that you don't own the platform. So whatever social media platform you're using at the moment, you could wake up tomorrow and it could be gone. Facebook can close your group down. Instagram can kick you off Instagram. YouTube can ban your channel, right? Maybe you accidentally did something wrong. Maybe you didn't and someone reported you when they shouldn't have, or maybe you've been hacked into it. There's just so many different things that can happen on social media and you're gone and there's nothing you can do. If you also have an email list, however, you own that email list. So let's just use YouTube as an example. Let's say you've got a YouTube channel, but you also collected everyone's email address. Okay, your YouTube channel gets closed down for whatever reason. As long as you've got that email list, no dramas. You can still contact with your audience via email. You can start up a new channel. You can use a different platform. You're more leveraged. And even if it's not the platform itself that kicks you off, maybe they just change their algorithm. Maybe you used to get a lot of reach on YouTube or Instagram, or whatever it may be. The platform changed your algorithm. You now can't get in front of your followers. However, if you had an email list, you would still be able to get in front of them. On top of that, it's easier to make sales via email. So a rough statistic, each email subscriber should generate you about $1 per month. So if you've got an email list of 1,000 subscribers, you should be generating about $1,000 worth of revenue a month. That's an indication, just to put it in perspective there. So the formula usually looks like this. You use social media to grow your email list. You then use your email list to make sales. And if you're not getting leads from social media, you're not doing it right. That's the power of social media. Now, what platform should you use, or what platform should course creators use? It's just, it's so different depending on the person and the platform. But here's the simplified version. What you want to do is pick one platform. At the start, don't try and be everywhere on everything. It can be tempting because you probably see a lot of the heavy hitters do it, right? They're on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube, and they've got a podcast and LinkedIn as well, but they're probably more experienced. They've probably got a team of people working for them. So if you're starting off, you're better off just putting all your focus on one platform and mastering that platform there. Once you've mastered the one, then you can move on to the next. Now, if you're wondering which one should you start with, here are a few questions that I recommend asking. The major one is, what platform do you know the best? And I'll share the second one, and then we'll have a bit of a chat about both of them. It's also, where does your audience hang out? Now, a lot of people recommend the audience one first. Find where your audience hangs out and use that there. I don't disagree with that, but I've got a slightly different take. Chances are, in my opinion, you're better off starting with the platform that you know the best for a few different reasons. Firstly, if you're on that platform, it's a pretty good chance your target market is on that platform as well, right? It just doesn't, well, even let's even go a step back there. Most platforms have most people on there anyway, the big ones anyway. If we're talking Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, like most of those big ones, most people are on there anyway, especially if you're on there. There's a good chance that your audience is going to be on there. But if you know how to utilize it best, that's when you're going to get the best results. Like I'm sure we've all seen things before on YouTube or Instagram or Facebook, and we're like, why is this person posting that? That's such a bad thing to post. That's maybe just because we know the platform and we know how it works. That new person posting may not know how it works. So that's why they've made a bad post there. But if you know the platform, it's so much easier for you to get into it. Let's just use YouTube as an example. If you always watch YouTube, you'll see what the people do. You'll see how they cut in. You'll see how they get engagement. You'll see how they link to their other videos. You'll see what they put in the description. It's just way easier to reverse engineer if you know that platform there. Okay. So, and then obviously your audience needs to be on there as well. So that's a start point. Let's think broad. Now let's just compare free and paid because they're two totally different games. Let's look at the advantages and the disadvantages on each one. So if we look at free, the biggest advantage of free is that you don't need to spend any money. You can be absolutely broke and you can go and generate leads and grow your following on social media today, spending absolutely $0. Paid, you don't have that advantage. You got to spend money. And it can get expensive, especially at the start, because firstly, you need to pay just to get in front of people, right? But on top of that, you're probably going to pay the learning tax as well. Now, what do I mean by that? If you've never run Facebook ads before, you kind of don't know how the platform works. You don't know what image to use. You don't know what copy to use. You don't know what headline to use. So you're going to have to pay thousands of dollars just testing what works and what doesn't work. So it can add up pretty quickly. On the flip side, the disadvantage of free is that you need to spend time. Let's use Facebook as an example, right? If I'm doing organic Facebook stuff, I might make a post today on my profile or in a Facebook group. Tomorrow, that's out of the newsfeed. And then I need to post again. And the day after, that's out of the newsfeed. And I need to post again. I need to consistently post and create new content to get in front of new people. And that takes me time. Paid, not so much. I can start up a Facebook ad now in 5 minutes, and then I can just get that in front of my ideal audience every day for the rest of the month without me doing anything. So the moral of the story here is you need to pay one way or another. It just depends. Do you want to pay with your money or do you want to pay with your time? I'll give a suggestion in a second, but that's how I want you to think about it. It's like, even though we say it's free, right? It's more organic because we are paying with our time. On top of that, it can be harder to scale with free as well. Like let's go back to Facebook again. Let's say you're making a post every day on your personal profile or in a Facebook group. That's great. How do you scale that? Do 2 posts a day? It's not really scaling. You're just getting in front of the same people. Scaling a little bit, but not quite. Paid, it's very easy to scale. If you want to get in front of twice as many people, just put twice the amount of budget on there. Okay, so that's the landscape with free and paid. Now, my suggestion, start with free or start with organic. Validate your idea. And then once you're making revenue, reinvest that into paid advertising, because paid advertising is a lot faster and it's less work. So in a way, you could say it's better. But if you don't know what you're doing and you haven't validated your idea, it can just be throwing money down the drain. So start with free, validate your idea. Once you know you're onto something, you know your audience, you know they're buying your stuff, then it's time to move on to paid. Now, there's 2 major ways we look at it: search and connect. And there might be different names for this, but let's simplify and break it down a bit. So when we're talking at search type platforms, these are things. Google's obviously the biggest, right? You search something looking for a result. So on Google, either with SEO or a blog. YouTube is obviously a big search engine as well. If you want to find out the answer to something, you usually go to Google or YouTube. May also be a podcast. Right, you want to find some more info, you may look into a podcast. Pinterest is also a popular one as well. So those sort of platforms where someone is looking for something, they're typing something in, specifically looking for that thing. The connect is a little bit different. They're things like Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, things where you more connect with that person there. There's similarities between the 2 of them. You might, follow someone on YouTube. It's not really a two-way thing, right? Usually the connect is more a two-way thing. You connect with someone, they connect with you back, right? Now, they're two totally different games. So let's look at the advantages and the disadvantages of these ones here. The biggest advantage of the search-based platforms is that they're evergreen. Let's use Google and YouTube as an example. You put a good YouTube video out there today, people can be finding that for the next 5 years. If it stays up the top there, right, you then don't need to keep, well, you obviously still keep creating anyway, but even if you don't, you've got that one video that can just, people type in YouTube, that comes up the top, they enter their details, you're growing your list on evergreen, right? The connect ones, not so much. You make a post on Facebook or Instagram, 24 hours, it's out of the news feed. You need to post again and again and again. The disadvantage to the search ones is it can be slow at the start and hard to scale. So let's use that YouTube example. You know, you create a awesome YouTube video that's on evergreen. That might take you 5 years to create that YouTube video there, right? It's not like you can just create one today and then it automatically comes up the top. So it can be 5 years of just very low reach and building your following and working from there. It can be very slow and cumbersome. And 5 years is an example. It might not be. It might be 5 months. It might be 1 year. It might be 2 years. But the point I'm getting at here is it's slow at the start and it's very hard to scale. Like, I'll go the other side, which will make it easier with the connect. It's easy to grow at the start with these things here. Let's use LinkedIn as an example on the connect side of things. You can go out and connect with like 50 people this week, and then 50 again the next week, and then 50 again the next week, and then 50 again the next week. Like, you can get to 1,000 connections on LinkedIn super quick. Instagram and Facebook, similar ideas. They're not as connection based on LinkedIn, but the same sort of thing. You can go and, you know, add some friends on Facebook. You can follow some people on Instagram and they'll follow you back. Like, it's very easy from the start to use those connect ones. And it's a lot more, there's more of a system to it where you reach out to 50 people, half of them connect back, you know, half of them go on your email list, and you can work from there. So there's the differences between those two there. Let's even break it down a little bit more. Let's compare Google and YouTube because they're the two biggest on the search side of things. Now, the constants, and this is constant with pretty much any platform, is good content. Okay. If you don't have good content, like, what are you even doing on the platform, right? So you need to have that. But the issue is that's just the start. Good content is just to get in the game. There's a whole heap more that you need to do. And what do we mean by good content? Things that users consume and share. And that's pretty consistent on most platforms anyway, but it's specifically those two, YouTube and Google. If people are watching the whole of your video, reading the whole of your blog, Google will consider that good content and get it out there more. The things that are most search specific is that it's highly keyword driven. So what do I mean by that? Good content, it's a start, but unless it's very keyword optimized, no one is finding it. So what you want to do is you want to target specific keywords. When you're putting your content out there, whether it's Google or YouTube or any search-based thing, you want to focus on specific keywords, and you want those keywords to be things that are high traffic to start with. Because let's say you've got a keyword that you want to target and you want to be like, right, if anyone types this in Google or YouTube, I want to come up the top. It's great, but if no one's searching it, it doesn't matter. And I've made that mistake before. In Fitness Education Online, I targeted online bootcamp course. I'm like, I want to be number one on Google on online bootcamp course. And I spent years making sure I was number one on Google on that word. And I was number one. But the issue was no one was searching it, right? So that's why you need to have something that's got high traffic. On top of that, high traffic's not enough. It also needs to be low competition. So let's say in my fitness space, I know that weight loss is, you know, huge traffic. But if I tried to target weight loss, it's just too competitive. There's no way I could get up the top as a newbie or where I am at the moment. So we need to find something that's high traffic and low competition, and we focus on being the go-to on those words there. And on top of that, we've got to know how to leverage those keywords, right? It's kind of like, great, we've got these keywords, but where do we put it? If it's on YouTube, where do we put these keywords? If it's on Google, where do we put these keywords? Is it in the H1? Is it in the title? Is it in the slug? Is it in the photo? Is it in the alt text tags? Like, we want to know those things there. Okay. So if you're going on the search side of things, make sure you master keyword research. If we compare the two, blogging versus YouTube, what's better for you? Well, there's a couple of things here. Firstly, what are you better doing? Are you more comfortable expressing yourself via video or via written text? If you can express your, like, if you're, ideally you want to be pretty good at both of them, but let's just look at it. Let's simplify it when starting off. If you're really good with your words and you're a really good writer, but you get really nervous on video and you stutter and you forget what you're going to say and you get, it's just not a great thing, then you're probably better off focusing on blogging, right? There's no point forcing YouTube if you're not comfortable on video. On the flip side, let's say you're really comfortable on video, you're confident, you're charismatic, you got all the tech, and when it comes to written, it's just, man, it would take me 3 hours to explain something that I could explain 5 minutes on video, right? So whatever you're best on is a good indication to start with. And also your topic. So let's use, for example, let's use the course creator space, like what I'm doing now, where I'm giving tips on course creation. It's easier for me to do that written. Here's like a combination, right? Where I've got a video in the top right, then I'm also, also explaining. I've also got some written things down here, but it's very easy for me to do a Facebook post and just type something out, or write a blog and type something out. Fitness, on the other hand, works a lot better video, because if I want to show you how to do an exercise or demonstrate the workout, it's very hard for me to explain that in written terms. I need to actually show you via video or even photo. So that's the other thing there. Not only what are you comfortable on, what's your topic and what does it lend itself more to? And then also your audience as well, obviously, right? And let's use that same example too. If it's a fitness one, most people want to watch the video. If they want to learn how to do an exercise or a workout, they're probably going to go to the video there. Okay. Now let's look at the flip side. Let's look at the connect side of things. So the Facebooks, the Instagrams, the LinkedIns. If we look at the constants, once again, we need good content that's continuous all around. On these platforms, it's a bit more about liking, commenting, and sharing, because we don't, just for now, think of it like that with Connect. Good content is usually things that people like, comment, and share a lot on. In terms of Connect specific, it's more direct message driven. It's obviously you're posting your content as well, but most of the sales and the leads will go down in the DM. You'll make a post on Instagram and then or a story, and the Instagram, the conversation will start in the DM. You make a post on Facebook, it usually leads to the DM. LinkedIn is all DM as well. So very direct message driven. It's less about, unlike the Google and the YouTube, it's less message driven, right? It's like you put your content out there into the world, people click a button, they automate, they go through the funnel. With the Connect side of things, there's an element of that, but it's way more driven in the direct message and the human to human conversation, or friend request driven as well. The secret to Connect is learning how to DM appropriately, because it's one of those things, if you do it wrong, because like, the limitation to DM is you don't really see the person, hear their voice. Like they could say something and mean something completely different, right? So it's easy to kind of get confused there. So that's the trick with these platforms here, is learning how to DM appropriately. If we compare the three of them, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, similar sort of thing. What platform are you more comfortable on? If you spend most of your time on one, you're going to know that platform better. It's a common theme through this presentation, right? And obviously, what platform is your audience most likely to be on as well? Now, if we spend a minute here on Facebook, because it's an important one, when we're talking about Facebook, paid traffic is the Facebook business page. Organic traffic is your Facebook personal profile. There's a clear line between the two, okay? And what a lot of people do is they get stuck in the middle. It's like, right, Jono, I want to grow my social media presence and I want to use Facebook. I'm like, yep, cool, free or paid? They're like, free, just want to do it free. I'm like, cool, you got to use your personal Facebook profile. They're like, no, don't want to do that. Want to use my business page. I'm like, yep, that's fine. You can use your business page, but then you got to use paid traffic. They're like, no, don't want to use paid. I want to use free. And I'm like, well, it's like a constant cycle, right? You got to pick a team here. If you want to use your Facebook business page, you go on paid. If you want to use organic, using your personal profile. Don't get stuck in the middle there, right? And if you don't want to do either, then Facebook's not the platform for you. If you're like, Jono, I want to use free strategies, but I don't want to use my personal Facebook profile, Facebook's not for you then. Go for Instagram or LinkedIn or a search-based thing. And you've obviously got your Facebook group for your community as well. Okay. Now, with all of these, summarizing here, with all of these, the most important part is consistency and momentum. No matter what strategy you pick, you want to be consistent. There's no point in starting a YouTube channel for 2 weeks and then doing Instagram for 2 weeks and then going back to YouTube a month later. It just doesn't work. My suggestion, start with, even in general, start with a free connect. So either pick Instagram, LinkedIn, or Facebook. They're the easiest to start off with, right? And get a bit of a, get the ball rolling with these things here, and then you might choose another one here. The reason why I recommend these, it's usually easy to start off with free, because even though you got to spend some time, you don't have to spend any money, and it's easier to start off and validate it first for free, right? And the reason why I picked these three, it's easier to start off with. So here's the action task or task that I recommend. Select your weapon. Pick one social media platform. I recommend get trained in that platform. Do a course in that platform, because social media, it's just, I want to try and put this nicely. It's almost arrogant to think that you can just, if you haven't done a course or you haven't been trained in a platform, it's almost arrogant to think that you can just put your idea out there and you're going to be, a social media influencer. You're going to grow this huge following, or you're going to make all these sales. Like, there's people that spend their lives mastering this stuff here. It's going to be hard to beat those people if we haven't got a strategy doing that, right? And on top of that, implement that strategy every day, or whatever you can consistently do, for a minimum of 3 months before changing. Because with any of these, it takes that long to get traction there. Okay, so that's pretty much all I wanted to cover for today. If you'd like to connect with me, obviously join the Course Creator community. If you want to join our Facebook group, just type in Course Creator Community. If you want to follow us on Instagram, Course Creator Community. If you want to listen to our podcast, Course Creator Community. See what I mean about consistency? It's a common thread with what I do, right? And also, I'm not exactly Mr. Creative. So what I lack in creativity, make up in consistency. And if you want to connect with me personally, Jono Petrohilos. Once again, I'm Mr. Consistency, right? On Facebook, I'm Jono Petrohilos. On Instagram, I'm Jono Petrohilos. On LinkedIn, I'm Jono Petrohilos. Feel free to reach out if you need anything.